Hey everyone, Doctor Who goes boom with season 1, episode 3. Well, not literally. The first two episodes of the new season were a bit of a toss up. I completely hated Space Babies, but I enjoyed The Devil's Cord, despite a few bumps in the story, like the musical scene at the end. However, Boom was it was really good episode and it had a very solid story. There were a few more clues for the season arc, and Doctor Who really felt like the Doctor finally. As I'm telling you, this season is starting to find its legs, and Boom really felt like old school Doctor Who storytelling. So let's get into why this episode feels like old school Who. But before we do, just a quick reminder to give this review a thumbs up if you like it and subscribe for more videos. Also, I really do encourage you to leave comments below, whether you agree or disagree with me, because there's nothing more fun than actual legitimate conversation or debate about Doctor Who with other fans. So, Boom is a war story. It's a war episode that focuses on some very small stories, which allows the episode to go deeper into character development, which is something that the new season was really missing. It introduces us to a couple soldiers who are heading into battle, and one of them dies. The doctor hears him crying out for help, and in true Doctor Who fashion, he takes off running to save the man, only to find himself standing on some kind of mind that killed the soldier in the first place. And now he's trapped in that same situation. That's the setup for the episode. And the rest of it just focuses on the equivalent of a trust experiment as Ruby and the doctor and the other people, the other soldiers in the episode, kind of work together to get him off the mine and to save everybody from basically going boom together. And through the rest of the episode, they never leave that immediate area of the mine. An ambulance arrives, as do other soldiers, and each new addition to the scene generates conversation, convincing, and cooperation among all of them. And if any of them hope to get out of the crater alive, they really do need to work together. And that is right in Doctor Who's wheelhouse. It is right at the center of what he does and what he does best. What worked especially well was the use of the mind to pin the Doctor in place so that the other characters were forced to be the active agents within the episode. So Ruby had to step up to protect him in his moment of fragility. The soldiers, they had to stop and think about what they were doing and why they were doing it. And the corporate war machine had to respond in a way that revealed its nature to the soldiers. This episode also gets into modern technology in a way that felt contemporary, which we don't always see in Doctor Who because there's often a lot of hand waving to make the advanced technology kind of make sense. Instead, we get into the physics of weight distribution on the landmine. We learn how remote battlefield medicine could be handled in the future. And we get into AI and how algorithms manage the war in order to keep casualties down and profits up. It was really, really nicely done how they pulled those topics and technology together. What didn't work for me was there were some heavy-handed clues that the episode dropped. It's not that I didn't like the clues or the fact that they were in the episode. I just didn't like how obvious they were. The key mystery about Ruby is her parentage, and this episode was all about father-daughter dynamics, a love relationship that was lost before it even began, and the doctor convincing a hologram to do something in such a way in order to save Ruby's life that felt like he was telling us a major clue about her parents. It almost feels like they felt like they had to hit the audience over the head with certain things to make sure we didn't miss them. And I think that's something done especially for the new audience, younger fans who will be discovering the series for the first time through Disney Plus. Older fans, or I should say longer term fans, are much more used to how clues are dropped in the storytelling. And so it just really felt a little heavy-handed. So didn't like that as much. So this episode really gives Ncuti Gatwa a chance to step into the role of the doctor in a way that feels like he's the doctor. And the writing is strong with good conflict moments and strong dialogue and solutions that come from the doctor actually thinking his way out of the problem. Even though Ncuti Gatwa is standing on a mine through most of the episode, and everyone is kind of swirling around him, doing the active elements of the story, he is the problem solver, and everyone else are kind of the elements within the story making it all come together. And from start to end in this episode, he really is in full control, even while standing fixed in place on a mine. This is really good storytelling, and it feels like the quality of storytelling that we got during the David Tennant era as the Doctor. And, when doing reviews, I really do try not to get into political or social issues because that's not the role of a reviewer. I am just here to tell you about the story, its flaws, and its strengths. And I like to leave the rest of it up to you to discuss. And that's why I'm absolutely fine if you don't agree with me. We all have different things that we like. We all want different kinds of stories. And I think it's fair to say that anyone who watches this review and got this far cares or cared about Doctor Who. Different seasons are for different people. And I have been a fan for decades, and I haven't liked every Doctor. I haven't liked every season, and I haven't liked every episode. I mean, yeah, I have not liked every episode. I mean, look at Space Babies. Anyway, however, I do like talking with you about it, even when we disagree. No, especially when we disagree, because it's an opportunity for us to share our ideas and thoughts about something that we both care about. And it gives us something to connect over. And I think that's really, really important. To that end, there are some social issues that do come up from time to time in Doctor Who. I acknowledge that. And that actually is nothing new. That's been happening for decades. And Boom actually brings us back to one of those social topics, and that is the topic of war for profit and war for entertainment, and the cost of human life because of war. However, I think they do it in such a way that it feels respectful to people who've served in the armed forces, as well as those who've maybe unexpectedly found themselves in the middle of a war zone, or people who've lost loved ones during a war. They do, however, stick it to the corporations. But I don't think anyone is really going to shed any tears over corporations kind of getting a raw end of a deal in this episode. In any case, I do think this is a good episode. If you were wanting to give Doctor Who a try, but you weren't sure where to start, why not start with Boom? It's not the best episode ever in the whole world and history of Doctor Who, but hey, it's a good one, and it has some really nice character development and some story building that gets back to some of the best parts of Doctor Who that I think we all really care and love about the Doctor. Thanks so much, everyone. If you like this review, and even if you don't agree with it, please do give a thumbs up and leave a comment. I would love to actually chat with you about it because that's what these reviews are for. That's it for now. Be sure to subscribe for more videos, and I will see you again soon. In the meantime, happy viewing. Bye.